Welcome to Riyadh Air long-haul economy class.
It's been a month since the world's most hyped new airline officially took to the skies. But now that the inaugural fun is out of the way, let's see what the experience is actually like for a normal passenger on a regular day. From the seat comfort and next-gen technology to the onboard dining service and a pretty big miss, is Riyadh Air genuinely setting a new standard for travel? And should Emirates, Etihad and Qatar be worried about their rapid global expansion?
To find out, join me today on their flagship route from London Heathrow to Riyadh. Let's head inside Terminal 4 and see what they've got to offer. I recently flew the inaugural Riyadh to Dubai route, so I've already had a first look at the cabin, but today is a test of long-haul endurance. So I'm expecting to see a more substantial meal service. I want to see how comfortable that seat is after 7 hours of flying, and I'm interested to see how the crew have settled into their roles now that some time has passed. So let's start things off by heading to check-in. Just checked in, got my boarding pass. There's absolutely no queues, as you can see behind me. The check-in agent told me I had the whole row to myself. Apparently it's quite an empty flight, so great for filming. Apparently tomorrow's flight is completely full, so I chose a good day to take this. I was thinking about upgrading to premium economy since I'd already flown economy, but from what I've seen online, it doesn't really seem worth it. So we're staying in economy today. Let me head through security and I'll see you on the other side. I'm flying in economy today, so I don't have lounge access. But if you are flying in business class, Riyadh Air use the Plaza Premium lounge here at Heathrow. So I'm gonna pop inside quickly. I've got access with Dragon Pass and then we'll head to the gate.
It's a decent-sized lounge with views over the apron, different seating sections, and a food buffet. There's no champagne served here, unfortunately, so that's another X for the scoreboard.
Now, Riyadh Air is a relatively small airline in terms of fleet size and their route network, but with over 100 aircraft on order, including more of the Dreamliners we're flying on today, up to 50 A350s, and they've got 60 A321neos on order. They've got big dreams of becoming a global mega connector hub like their rivals in the Gulf. Now, having flown Emirates, Etihad and Qatar recently in economy, I'll be able to compare where they fall in that ranking, and if those Middle East three should be worried. Let's get on board. Riyadh Air long haul, let's go. I just got settled into my seat, 34K at the rear of the cabin, and one of the first things you'll notice when you step on board is the attention to detail that has gone into the materials chosen. Like, everything just looks and feels so luxurious with the purple theme, the ambient lighting. Even back here in economy, it looks so nice, and it's really noticeable when you step on board. Having said that, let's have a look around the rest of the seat and what features it has.
The purple theme continues with the seats, which are well padded. They feel comfortable right now, but I'll tell you at the end of the flight if they still feel comfortable by then. The headrest is 6-way adjustable. Legroom is fine for economy at 31 inches of seat pitch, and the recline felt great with a recline of 5 inches back. The seat also comes with a pillow, which is on the slightly larger side for economy, and I thought the blanket felt really good, especially compared to the thin, fuzzy blankets most airlines give out. There's a leather effect seat pocket with 2 separate compartments, and of course, we can't forget this lovely 13.3-inch 4K OLED touchscreen. We'll dig more into the IFE system later into the flight.
So you can see it's a pretty nice economy seat, and the attention to detail, even with things like the ambient lighting underneath the IFE screen, it's little things like that just stacked up on top of each other that make this cabin really look and feel impressive. The one big negative downside is there's no individual air vents above, and for an airline which is based in Riyadh, that seems like a pretty big omission. But anyway, right now the cabin's cool, so I'm not complaining. I think boarding's just completed, so
thank you very much,
let's get in the sky.
Trolley first came down the aisle 20 minutes after takeoff for the drink service.
I'm going for a Diet Pepsi today, and it's great to see Riyadh Air using these reusable cups to cut down on plastic waste. They've also handed out these potato sticks, so I'll enjoy these until the main meal service is being prepared.
There's water, soft drinks, and juices on offer, but remember, Riyadh Air is a dry airline, so you won't find wine or any alcohol on board. Then, the meal service started 1 hour and 20 minutes after takeoff. We had a choice of either lamb with rice, chicken with mashed potato, or vegetarian pasta today.
Food has just been served, and I've got to say, as someone who's not a fan of breakfast on flights, I'm not too bothered that it took longer for the meal service to start, because it means we get a proper meal service now. So I've gone for the chicken and mashed potato. Let's tuck in. I've just finished up the meal service and I'd say it was pretty good. For starters, there was some sort of tomato couscous salad, very nice. Main course, like I said, I had the chicken with mashed potatoes, there was some vegetables, broccoli. It tasted good with the honey mustard dressing. And then dessert was a chocolate mousse with some chocolate crumble pieces on top. Again, all went down really well. For an economy plain meal, it was very good. One thing I didn't like is how the baguette just looks so pale. I like when my baguette has a bit of crunch on the outside, but here it was soft all the way through. It tasted good, just didn't have that texture that I usually like. And then we had some cheese, mini chocolate. Overall, I think it's a good economy meal. Nothing more, nothing less, but I enjoyed it. And another thing which is good to see is the sustainability keeps going with the meal service. All of the food is served in these hard, reusable containers, so there'll be less plastic waste come the end of the flight. And then after the meal service, the crew come down through the cabin to offer tea or coffee, and then that's pretty much the extent of the meal service. I think there's going to be a little snack before landing, since this is a long-haul flight, so I'll show you what that's like when it happens. Okay, it's the Riyadh Air toilet inspection time for economy class. It's a pretty standard 787 Dreamliner toilet. We've got the touchless flush, which is good to see, but there's no touchless bin cover that you can control with your foot, so that's a bit of an omission. I think they have it in business class though, I think I've seen a video. But anyway, apart from that, toilet's pretty standard. We do have this faux stone effect on the wall here, which does add a nice little touch. And we have some branded soaps and hand lotion down here, which is nice to see, especially in economy. And apart from that, that's it really. Pretty standard toilet. I came to use the toilet at the start of the flight and it was spotless, but now it's a few hours in and there's like drips and water all over the floor, so maybe a bit more attention could be paid to keeping it clean. But I also know this is going to be really dependent on the passengers and the route and how busy the crew are. But anyway, let's head back to the seat. And when it comes to the onboard amenities and economy, the main thing is going to be this big, crisp 4K touchscreen right in front of us. So let's dig deeper and see what they've got on offer.
First of all, the touchscreen is incredibly responsive, and the 4K resolution makes everything look very crisp. It's a great screen. The UI is fairly intuitive, and it has a pretty large selection of movies from around the world to keep you busy, including a lot of new releases. The TV shows list is less impressive, with only a handful of shows, and you can also find some albums to listen to as well. If you're flying with children, there's a few games to keep them busy and even parental controls so you can restrict what kind of content they can watch. There's no exterior cameras on the Dreamliner unfortunately, but the 3D world map here will have to do the trick, and it's very detailed and responsive. Riyadh Air do provide some wired headphones, but like literally every set of economy headphones ever, the quality isn't that great and neither is the noise cancellation. Luckily, you can pair your own Bluetooth headphones, which makes for a much better listening experience, assuming you have good headphones, that is.
And if you're not interested in the in-flight entertainment system, Riyadh Air offer free Wi-Fi for all passengers that are part of their Sphere loyalty program. So you just log in using your email address and you can get access to Wi-Fi. Now, this is something I mentioned in my last video, which seems like a pretty big miss considering Riyadh Air made a big fanfare about being a digital-first native airline, and that is that their Wi-Fi is not Starlink. So I've just done another speed test and I was getting pretty similar speeds to last time, around 2 megabits per second, which is pretty slow when you consider that Starlink gives you about 100 times that, like 200 megabits per second. Although one thing I will say, on this particular flight, I've been able to watch some Instagram
Instagram, watched some YouTube videos, and I did not have problem loading content. Of course, it's a bit slower, but once it starts playing, it's working. On my last flight, I was barely able to load just a static web page. So I guess it's going to depend a lot on which route you fly, but on this flight, the Wi-Fi has actually been okay for me. And when it comes to charging your devices, there is not any international power sockets, but every passenger in economy gets 2 USB-C sockets under their IFE screen. So that's great to see, especially these days when people usually have more than one device. But the one thing I'm not sure from the last flight was whether these sockets were 60 watt or powerful enough to charge a laptop. So I'm going to bring mine down and see if it drains or see if it gains. Alright, we're well into the flight at this point. There's just over 2 hours left until landing, and so far everything's going really good on this flight. I'm stretching out across all 3 seats because I've got the row to myself, and to be honest, any flight where you have a row to yourself is going to be 100% better immediately. But in terms of the service, the crew have been really good. They keep periodically passing down the aisle after the meal service was finished to offer snacks. There's been popcorn and ice cream, so I had a lovely salted caramel ice cream. In terms of the charging, I said I'd get back to you if the charging works for laptops. It seems like it does. I've been doing about an hour plus of heavy video editing, and my battery stayed charged and it's not draining like it would do on a weaker charger, so it's good to see that. Look, there's the trolley service passing through once again. The crew keep coming down, offering snacks, offering tea, offering coffee, offering drinks. I'm having another Diet Pepsi right now. That was very stupid to do over my laptop right on my lap. But anyway, so far so good. I don't really have anything else to report, so I'm going to keep doing a bit of work, and I'll get back to you when we have our landing stack. I'll see you then. Okay, well, the captain's just announced that we're coming in to land, and 2 things I've just noticed now that it's basically the end of the flight. First thing is there is no second meal service or snack before landing. I don't know where I got that from, but I was under the impression that there was going to be one. There's not. And the second thing is, I realized there's no amenity kit that's handed out in economy. Now, you might be wondering, amenity kits, that's not really an economy class thing, but I recently flew with Saudia on an equivalent route, Jeddah to Heathrow, and there's an amenity kit handed out to all passengers in economy, and considering that this is their sister airline but also rival, I was expecting that you maybe would get something like this. And same goes for the pre-landing snack. Saudia do offer this. You don't see it here. Considering Riyadh Air is trying to be the bigger, the better, the more luxurious, changing air travel, I was a bit surprised to see those 2 things missing. I've just made it to Riyadh, and I thought that was a pretty good economy flight. But the real question is, does it live up to the marketing hype that it's going to set a new standard for global travel? And where does it rank in comparison to its Middle East 3 rivals? Well, I'll tell you that in a sec, but first, I got to try and beat this traffic because Elias Street gets crazy around rush hours. Let me get to my hotel. Hello, it's actually the next day right now. I went to sleep as soon as I got in yesterday, but I've had some time to think about the experience. I made a few notes, so let me tell you all about it. First of all, let's start with the positive. The seat and cabin design, I think, is best in class, especially for economy. You can see how much attention to detail has been paid to the materials chosen, things like the ambient lighting. I think it's great. Now, for the rest, remember the massive PR campaign saying that Riyadh Air was going to revolutionize air travel. It's going to set a new global standard. Well, with that in mind, let's look at the other categories. When it comes to food, again, it was good. I thought it was tasty, but you know, it's economy food. There was nothing that was really elevating it to that next level, but it was good to see sustainable food packaging. Let's start with the seat and the hard product. It's a good economy seat, but I wouldn't say it's revolutionary. There's plenty of airlines that offer way more seat pitch in economy, but the modern IFE with the 4K OLED screen, that was great. And now when it comes to the service provided by the crew,
I thought this had really improved from the inaugural flight. They felt more confident, they felt like they'd properly settled into the roles, and they were doing a lot of proactive service gestures. They were passing through the cabin quite often, checking if you wanted more drinks, more snacks, and they were remembering my previous choices. This probably helps that it was an emptier cabin, but they wouldn't say, do you want a drink? They're like, how about another Diet Pepsi? So small things like that is nice, and every service gesture was handled with a big smile, a very positive attitude from the crew, so keep it up. And now, in terms of a comparison to the Middle East 3, well, I'll start by saying that comparing an airline to any of those 3 is a really good compliment. These are some of the best airlines in the world. But where does it rank in terms of that? So if you were to ask my impression, it feels like an Etihad to me, if that makes sense. It's a very good economy experience, but I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot a bit by doing so much marketing hype that they were going to revolutionize air travel and change everything. In economy, at least, it's a very good experience, but nothing crazy, nothing that's setting the bar even higher for everyone else. I think one thing that the ME3 really benefit from is having a first-class cabin for that halo effect, and there's no first-class cabin offered here, so you don't get that halo effect of having that big wow product. Now the question is, would I fly them again? And the answer is yes, and I am in a few days. I'm flying in business elite, not business class, but business elite, which is a level above. It's almost like a first class if you want. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is a first class seat, but they market it as business elite. Don't know why. I think they could have benefited from the halo effect of having an excellent first-class dedicated cabin, but we'll see what that experience is like. So make sure you like, subscribe, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the economy experience, and if you've been one of the early ones that's already flown in the cabin, let me know what your experience was like. Let me know if you agree with me, and as always, till next time.